Hello everyone and welcome back to the next lesson. In this lesson, we are going to talk about the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. This lesson is going to be completely in English because you have to learn how to speak about Great Britain. You can see that here you have a presentation and a lot of useful information and sentences are going to be written here. So if you need any further help, you can always stop the video and read the sentence carefully. We are going to talk about 4 parts: basic data, history, the system of government, and interesting places. And of course, we will start with the basic data. The basic information about Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So, let's start with the question. What is the United Kingdom? What is it? The United Kingdom is a name which consists actually of 4 geographical parts. And this is England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So, the official name is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Great Britain consists of Scotland, England, and Wales, plus Northern Ireland. Where is UK situated? UK is located actually on the northwest of Europe, between Atlantic Ocean and North Sea. Britain is separated from the continental Europe with the La Manche Channel. You can go through the La Manche Channel on the ferry or you can use the tunnel. Now let's talk about the basic information such as capital city, population, and official language. The capital city of Great Britain is London, and in London there live about 7 million people. But in whole UK, there are much more people. For example, but in the whole UK, the population is around 64 million people. The official language is, of course, English. However, in some part of Wales, you can speak also Welsh. Now, let's talk about the geography of the UK. UK is surrounded by seas. On the south, England and France are divided by the Canal La Manche, but there is also Irish Sea and North Sea. The largest river of the UK is called Thames and it goes through the capital city through London. There are so many lakes in England. There is a huge part which is called Lake District. You can find a lot of lakes there, including the largest Windermere. In Scotland, there are also so many popular lakes, such as Loch Lomond or Loch Ness, which is quite popular to the tourists because of the mystery monster which lives inside the lake Loch Ness. As for the mountains, there are not very high mountains in the UK. You can divide UK into 2 parts, highlands and lowlands. Highlands means mountains, and the highest peak is located in Scotland, which is called Ben Nevis, and it's only 1,343 meters high. Now let's talk about the climate in the UK. What is the weather like in the UK and why? Maybe you already know. It is very common to say that in England it's raining a lot. There are rainy summers and mild winters, so the temperature is not changing so much between summer and winter. The climate of the UK is influenced by the Gulf Stream, which means that it rains often. In Scotland, which is on the north, it's of course colder weather, and you can find even low temperatures during the summer. What are the symbols of the country? Are there any symbols? Definitely yes. The symbols of the country are flag, anthem, and patron saint. Great Britain's flag is known also as a British Union Jack. It was officially adopted in 1801, and the flag is made up of 3 crosses. These crosses represent different parts in UK. For example, England, Wales, and Scotland. The national anthem, the national song, this means what anthem is, okay, is called God Save the Queen. And there are also other symbols such as national flowers and animals, but they are not so important. But if you want to know them, the typical flower of England is red rose, and the animal is the lion. The Scotland is a thistle and the unicorn. And Wales has a daffodil and a dragon. And Northern Ireland has a shamrock as a typical symbol of this part. What does it mean, the Commonwealth of the UK? This is another part that we are going to talk about right now. There are a lot of countries in the world which are under the British Crown. The Queen Elizabeth II is the head of state in many other countries, not just in the UK. This is called the British Commonwealth of Nations. For example, it is Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Jamaica, and other small islands. We are going to move to a second part of our presentation, and this is history. History of the UK. History is a very big part, and of course it's good to know just some important situations in history. So let's get started. So let's talk about some important events. The original inhabitants of the UK were Celts. Later, the Romans came to Britain and they brought also the Christianity. They also built the famous Hadrian's Wall, which is a wall which divided Scotland and England in the past. One of the most famous kings was Henry VIII. He is very famous because in 1532 he established the Church of England. He is well known because he had 6 wives and sadly 2 of them were executed. In the 16th century, the Queen Elizabeth I reigned. The reign of the Queen Elizabeth I is often well known as Golden Age of England. We should also mention an part of the history which is called the Victorian era. The Victorian era in 1847 to 1901. This is called after Queen Victoria. Okay, she reigned from her early age, from her 18 years old, until her death. During the reign, the Britain became the strongest nation, the strongest power in the world. Victoria was also the first monarch who lived in the Buckingham Palace. Let's move to another part, which is the system of government. So what is the political system like in Great Britain? Great Britain is a constitutional monarchy. That means that the head of state is a queen. Right now is a Queen Elizabeth II. And she is also the head of the Church of England. But the main executive power have the Parliament and definitely the Prime Minister. What we should know about the Parliament of the UK. The Parliament consists of 2 houses. We call them the House of Commons and the House of Lords. The members of the House of Commons are elected and the members of House of Lords are hereditary. Let's move to our last part, and this is interesting places in the UK. This is a very huge part, so you can pick up any interesting place or city that you know. Maybe you can choose some places that you have visited if you are in the UK. But if not, here are some recommendations that you can use. For example, Stonehenge. Stonehenge is a very famous place in England. There are a lot of places of interest, but in the southern England, you can visit Stonehenge, which is a prehistoric monument, a big, huge stones made in a circle, which were probably built more than 3,500 years ago by the first inhabitants of England. Hadrian's Wall. I already mentioned Hadrian's Wall before in the video. It is located in the north part of England, and it is a huge, long stone wall which was built by the Romans, and it served to protect the enemies from Scotland. Today, it's of course just a tourist attraction, and it's just a few meters tall wall, but definitely it's a beautiful place to visit, because there are a lot of amazing views on the countryside of England. The last two recommendations are some cities. There are so many interesting cities in England, but let's mention these two, Oxford and Cambridge. Both of these cities are located more or less in the central England, and they are well known as university cities. Maybe you've heard about the University of Oxford and the University of Cambridge, which are very famous universities. They are also very old and famous universities, as well as expensive. So if you want to study there, you should prepare a lot of money. And that was all for this lesson. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you have learned something new. I definitely recommend you to check the vocabulary that we used in this video. Have a nice day, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye!